Kia ora koutou katoa. He aha te waru a pūtea o tūpuna. Koira te pātai kei mua I tētahi hapū o Foxton. I te hokotanga atu o tētahi whakaahua peita o tō rātou tūpuna. I peitahia tēnei tūpuna rongonui e te kai peita rongonui anō a Gottfried Lindauer. Engari, e hara I te mea ko te whānau anake te hunga I hiahia ki tēnei tūpuna. Anei ngā whakamahuki a Marissa Ball.
105,000, 110 it is now. $110,000 it is now, looking for 115.
This painting depicts Ihakara Tukumaru, who is a principal chief of the Foxton area. What you can see is, you know, a very strong, powerful portrait of a Māori chief. The work, I suppose, encapsulates the mana and the spirit and the wairua of this subject in a way which is, you know, very unique for New Zealand, but very typical of Lindauer's practice. And you know, it's a very fine work, and it's a very good example, I suppose, of Lindauer's work.
The portrait of Ihakara Tukumaru is 129 years old, but his people, Ngāti Raukawa ki te Awahau in Foxton, had no idea it existed until earlier this year.
Yeah, he was a man that was able to bring all the chiefs together of Ngāti Raukawa, but other iwi as well, because he had a role of being the liaison between the government and the iwi. And Ihakara was responsible for bringing people together, getting them to decide what they should do, being able to discuss intertribally, but across the various tribes in the area about what they should do with the different resources that were in this area.
It's of no surprise that the descendants of Ihakara want to bring him home.
Ihakara was the founding father of the Foxton and directly responsible for bringing the settlers of the Manawatu into this area. And from an iwi point of view, Ihakara was the person that was responsible for helping the iwi to be able to settle some of the disputes over land, and he's central to all the history of our iwi.
The painting of Ihakara Tukumaru as a part of Lindauer's works of the 1880s played a big part to hundreds more that would follow.
The works that Lindauer painted in the 1880s are regarded as being some of his best. This work is dated 1882 and it sits into a body of work that was commissioned by Buller. It's interesting to see that you know, Buller commissioned 17 paintings, of which this is one, and at the time the press was that it was to, you know, document potentially a race that was to die out culturally in New Zealand. Really, in effect, it changed the history of portraiture in this country and the way that Māori were documented through the late 19th century and into the beginning of the 20th century.
The whole idea of the painting coming back to Foxton would be the ideal thing, because it would give a centrepiece to a cultural centre and museum to give it some mana, basically, because it will be a piece, one artwork that's immediately associated with Foxton and the surrounding hapu. And in that way it would be able to be a real snapshot and an image of the chief that helped settle Foxton for future generations.
There are big plans for Little Foxton. The Dutch history here is well known. Plans to build a National Dutch Museum in collaboration with iwi has the locals excited.
We hope to be able to utilise the Mitre 10 building here. The town's library would be at the front, and then at the end will be the National Dutch Museum, Dutch National Museum coming out one way, and then off to the other side, the Piri Harakeke Māori Museum and Arts Gallery. Yeah.
The Dutch community in New Zealand chose Foxton ahead of Matakana in the north to be home to their museum.
Well, they were very receptive. They came and met with us at Motuiti Marae, just out of Foxton, and they came and invited us to share our dream with their dream. And even though there will be spaces in our complex where we can share each other's stories, there's still those opportunities to show our separate stories as well.
Ngāti Raukawa ki Te Awahau say Lindauer's painting of their tūpuna would have its rightful place amongst them.
Well, we were always hoping for, you know, the hope that someone might come forward from our whanau or from the wider community and be able to support us to secure the painting. That would have been the best to be able to have Ihakara Tukumaru always with us. But it looks like, you know, we're not going to be able to raise that type of money. So the next best option would be if Te Papa was able to be successful with their bid. You know, it would be owned by the nation, yeah, but there would be opportunities then for perhaps us to negotiate with them when our museum is built. So that would be probably at the moment the best outcome, unless we had a miracle in the next few days and someone came forward.
New call, $115,000, $115,000, $120.
And indeed Te Papa were interested, but they weren't the only ones. With Te Papa on the phone and two bidders on the floor, it came down to who wanted it most.
$150,000, I'm looking for 155. 155 I have, and 160, sir. I'm going to sell now for 155. Are you sure, sir? Are they sure? 155, well done.
Whilst Te Papa weren't successful in their bid, Hayley and Te Kenehi are quietly excited about Ihakara's new owner, believed to be directly connected to their hometown of Foxton.
Well, I feel a lot better now. I mean, to be honest, in the auction when what transpired, and I didn't know who the person was behind me that had bid it. I thought it was a person who I'd seen looking at the painting a lot when I was here viewing yesterday. So, you know, there were things that I could see about him that were positive, but I was a little bit deflated. But having come out and had a kōrero with Te Kenehi and thought about and learnt about the connections that he has, I feel just as hopeful really as probably if it had been the bidder we'd aligned with, because there's some connections there that might enable us to one day have that painting on display, even if it's for a short time, eh?
Kaore te kaihoko I te hiahia kia mōhiotia tana ingoa. Engari, he Māori.